Everyone, I'm Bill Miles with the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, and we're delighted to have you tuning in for our Power Hour this morning. Boy, what beautiful weather we've had. Spring is here in the Low Country, and when spring comes along, one other thing that's really important comes along, and that's celebrating small businesses. Next week, we're pleased to be celebrating our Small Business Week, and with over 80% of our members being small businesses, we always like to pause because we're very proud to shine the spotlight on them, and we have some great events planned. And you'll see in the chat box there, Kelly Brunson will put a list of the events that will be taking place, and we hopefully you'll be able to join us for one or two or even three of them. We really look forward to seeing you. You know, probably no surprise to you that in our membership survey, roads and infrastructure were the top two concerns that we had. And with the growth that's going on in the region, with the widening of I-95, the 278 corridor, as well as Exit 3 are all very, very hot topics. So we thought this morning it'd be great to have our next speaker, and with Representative Jeff Bradley's help, we're pleased to have with us this morning the South Carolina Secretary of Transportation to talk about what's ahead on our state's roadways. Transportation Secretary Christy Hall started at Scdot as an engineer, and she was nominated by then Governor Haley after 2 decades of service to Scdot, and we're glad to have her with us this morning for an update. Secretary Hall, good morning. We're glad to see you today.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Thumbs up?
You're loud and clear, Secretary.
All right, perfect. Thanks again for the invitation to join you this morning. And I do have a little bit of an update for you. I'd like to share with you. As you mentioned, probably one of our largest regional projects in that area is the planned widening of the first 33 miles of I-95 coming into the state from Georgia. That was a project just a few years ago, was nowhere on our radar screen. It finally, after much discussion, was listed as a priority project for us, and so we began the design work on the project and are moving forward, trying to get it ready to phase to go to construction here in the next couple of years. Our target is to begin the widening of the first 8 miles and go to contract at the end of 2024. So we're roughly about 18 months out on that. Obviously, we've got some additional design work to do, some permitting to finish up, railroad coordination to do, and purchasing of the right-of-way that's needed to build that first eight miles. So we're really excited about that project and how it will fit in and help deal with the tremendous growth of traffic that we've seen, and especially on the coastal areas of the state. And certainly I-95 has always been one of our heaviest traveled interstates, both for through state traffic, tourism traffic, and certainly freight traffic as well. It uses I-95 quite extensively. So all in all, on I-95, we're looking to invest pretty close to $1 billion on that first 33 miles. That's $1.1 billion with a B. Obviously, road work costs a lot of money these days. We're not immune from a lot of the issues I'm sure many of your business owners are facing as well in your areas. So that's our biggest project in your area, of course. I'm sure you're also tracking the 278 project that we're serving as project managers for the county and for the State Infrastructure Bank. As you know, I'm sure we're still working on the design part of that project to trying to get to a completed environmental document on that particular project so that we can move forward as a project managers for the county and the State Infrastructure Bank. That'll be well over a $300 million project by the time it's gets to contract, possibly just a tiny bit more. Of course, you know, who knows what the market conditions are when we get there, but we'll see what it's like when we get to that point. That project has a lot of coordination that has to happen between the local governments, and of course, we're anxious to get all that coordination done and behind us so that we can deliver the project to the community there in the Hilton Head area. And then the last project, big project I want to touch on, which I would imagine the mayor is going to talk about in just a few minutes as well, and that's the proposed Exit 3 project along I-95. We are working with the town of Hardeeville, as well as the State Infrastructure Bank and a private developer on that particular project. And they are working hard trying to get the necessary permits for that project so that it can be built hopefully at about the same time that we're building the work that's needed there on the first 8 miles of widening of I-95. So a lot's going on our major highways in the area for sure. And that's not to say that we're not doing other work on other things, certainly on the roads themselves in that area. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of paving projects going on in the region. We've recently been coordinating with the town of Hilton Head with regards to the paving projects that are needed there on 278 and some other areas. But just in the Tri-County region there, since the passage of the state gas tax increase, I looked at the figures this morning. We have put to contract well north of $172 million worth of paving projects in the area there. So a lot of that, hopefully you're seeing it on the ground as you're driving throughout the area. Of course, we still got a lot of work to do. We're dealing with 30 years of backlog of deferred maintenance, and we're trying to get caught up as quickly as we can. But hopefully you're seeing a lot of construction work happening in your area. I'm certainly seeing it as I travel the state, and I hope you are as well. And then finally, we'd just like to thank the chamber for your support. We had a big ask this year of the legislature, and that was for matching dollars to help us make sure that we're able to draw down all the federal funds coming our way or available to us in DC. And the ask was at least $100 million in recurring matching funds. And thanks to the chamber and others, we were able to, looks like, get that secured. And so what that will translate into is a significant boost to our regional programs for projects to deal with congestion and safety and additional widening projects, intersection improvements, bike ped accommodations and things like that. So thanks again to the chamber. And with that, I will be happy to take some questions or pitch it back to the moderator.
All right, Secretary Hall, thank you so much. We do have some questions that we'd like to ask from our listeners this morning. The first one's coming in from Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is asking about the bridge coming on between North Carolina and Georgia. I'm sorry, South Carolina and Georgia. And will that be widened? And is that a South Carolina responsibility or a joint responsibility between Georgia and South Carolina?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way we actually handle that on all of our borders is we alternate responsibilities from an inspection and maintenance standpoint. So the bridge there on 95 is owned by Georgia. However, our arrangement with Georgia is to do cost share. So we'll split the cost 50-50 with them. I do expect that bridge will likely be either significantly rehabbed or replaced as part of the widening project. So more to come. Of course, our bridge engineers, along with Georgia, will take a hard look at it and make the best decision, given the current condition and the expected lifespan of the structure. Great question.
Thank you for that. Our next question is coming from Tom, and Tom is asking, what is the expected timing of the finding of no significant impact and the municipal consent on US 278 project?
So we are basically going to defer and wait for the county and the town to complete their end-to-end review of the simulation of the project. So basically right now I've slowed down just a little bit on the finding of no significant impact submittal to federal highways in deference to the town and to the county trying to work through their issues there at the local level. So, ideally we would like to have it this summer in order to try to keep on schedule with the overall project and, move forward from that point, from that standpoint. So at this point in time, we're sort of like I said, tap the brakes just slightly as that concurrent study is being done by the town, by the county for the town.
Next question is coming from Ray, and Ray is asking the timing of the 33 miles widening on I-95.
Certainly, as I mentioned earlier, our plan is to tackle the first 8 miles beginning in late 2024 is our current target. And then we would look to sequence it, the next 2 phases, roughly every 2 to 3 years after that. So we could potentially be looking at having the entire 33 miles under contract and under construction sometime late 2028, maybe 2029, 2030.
All right, thank you for that. The next question is coming from Julie, and Julie first is a statement saying you don't get the opportunity to tear many things down. You're usually building. What can you tell us about the finalizing the toll booths being torn down?
Yeah, so I reached out and tried to get a status update this morning on what the anticipated completion is of that. You're correct. We don't often get to tear things down, and but this is one that I'm actually was pretty excited to be able to remove, is to eliminate that toll on that facility and open it up, and make it free to the public. Toll roads, a lot of people think they're big money generators, but they're really not. That particular project ran in the red for many, many years, and I only started to run in the black in the last couple of years of implementation. So we're glad to really decommission that, get it behind us, not be toll operators, not have to pay to collect tolls or pay for the privilege of having electronic tolls on the roads. And we're very thankful to be able to open that up and create a nice gateway into Hilton Head.
Thank you. They're off to a fine start, and we're looking forward to seeing that all landscaped and a new traffic pattern. So we appreciate you all getting on that. Diederik has a question for you, and he is asking, how will Scdot make sure that the firm chosen for the independent review is truly an independent company with no relationship, business or otherwise, with Scdot, Beaufort County, or the town of Hilton Head?
Well, we're really not in the selection process on that. That's an issue between the county and the town to talk through. Obviously, we feel very confident in the work that we've done with our professionals. And as you know, there's already been one look over the shoulder at that information. I liken a little bit, the 278 project is not unsimilar to some other projects that we've got in the area, for example, or projects that we deal with like that. A project can be as long or as expansive as you're willing to go. In other words, I could look at I-26 between Columbia and Charleston and say, well, that whole segment between Columbia and Charleston needs to be widened. And we all know that it does. But we also know that we have to break it up into manageable and financially feasible pieces, that it doesn't make sense to try to issue that out as one big contract and one big project. It's just not the right thing to do, even though we know it needs to be done and it will get done over a period of time. The 278 project, in my opinion, will be similar to that, in that you can expand that scope as far and out and as long as you possibly want to, and as much as you're willing to pay for. And you could run it all the way to I-95 and say that improvements are needed all the way out to I-95, and then go up and down I-95 as far as you want to. But at some point, you've got to come back and talk about what's appropriate for an individual project, given the financial constraints, recognizing that outside of that area, there are additional improvements that may be needed. So, this project, in my opinion, is going to be similar to that. You can, like I said, you can expand road projects as much as you're willing to go and can dream to do. And it's always going to come back to what's appropriate for this particular project at this point in time, recognizing that there may be additional improvements that may be needed outside of that. So let's let the county and the town do their work and then come back, and then we can talk about it as a project team and figure out what the next step forward is.
All right, thank you for that answer. Two more questions for you, and we'll be glad to let you get back to what you need to be doing today. And the first one is, how many roads, how many miles of roadways does Scdot manage in the state of South Carolina? And that's coming to us from Eric this morning.
South Carolina actually has the fourth largest state maintained highway system in the nation. We have well over 41,000 miles of roads that we maintain at the DOT, in addition to about 8,300 bridges all across the state, including the ones that are in the Hilton area, and other bridges in the Beaufort community. So fairly large system, even though we're a relatively small geographical state. We do have a large road network. And a matter of fact, a lot of roads that are in the state inventory in South Carolina are actually owned and maintained by local governments in other areas of the nation. So like in the Northeast, when you look at their inventory, or even if you just look across the river to Georgia, Georgia DOT is only responsible for about 17,000 miles with 3 times the budget that we have. So, but here in South Carolina, we've got 41,000 miles of roads that we're responsible for maintaining. And, you know, it was severely underfunded for a long time, and proud to say that our General Assembly took action in 2017 to turn that ship around and start investing in roads. And hopefully you're starting to see at the local level some improvements coming to life there on the ground, and conditions of the road starting to improve. Now, we still have a ways to go, there's no doubt about it, and we still have got to deal with the growth and congestion that we're seeing, especially in your community.
All right, the final question for you is, how does the state determine what roads are priority and which ones are not? And Sam is asking that.
Yeah, that's a good question too. So it's really tailored to the type of improvement. So just to talk briefly about maybe 3 types. So on paving projects, we allocate funding on a per county basis, and then we rank and prioritize projects within that county that compete against roads within that same county for funding out of that funding pot. So it's based on condition, traffic volumes, how much patching we're doing. If we know that there's something that's changed in the area, for example, if some areas in the low country, say if a mining pit opened up in an area, then we would know that that road probably is going to need attention a little bit sooner than later. So the paving projects are picked based on an objective process through our engineering side of the house. Bridge projects, very similar, statewide basis though, on a funding pot, similar type process, looking at structural condition on bridges and traffic volumes, both in the urban and the rural areas. And then finally, for big projects, big capital projects, so widening projects, intersection projects, a lot of our bike ped funding sources, we drive those dollars actually all the way down to the local level through organizations called the Metropolitan Planning Organizations and the Council of Governments. We've taken the position here at the DOT that we feel like those decisions are best made at the local level. So we actually allocate the federal funds down to the local level, along with the state matching funds that go along with that, and ask that those entities select projects to consume those dollars based on objective and quantifiable factors. So locals, I'm sure, are very familiar with those organizations. Probably many of your members sit on those boards and help pick and identify projects and route them to the DOT for us to implement. So we very much engage and value that local input on those types of projects.
Secretary Hall, just as we imagined, that you would be a wealth of information this morning, and you were just that. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the job, your leadership at Scdot, and thank you for remembering Beaufort County and their surrounding counties as well, Beaufort, Jasper, Colleton, etc.
Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity.
All right, have a great day. That was Secretary of Transportation, Christy Hall. Now we'll transition to, we're continuing to talk about growth and regional growth, and certainly Hardeeville is the epicenter of that with the new developments and homes planned. And to give us an update on that, as well as the growth and infrastructure, is the Mayor of Hardyville and our good friend, Mayor Henry Williams. Mayor, good morning. Harry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me. I always enjoy speaking with you, Bill, and everybody else. You know, as I have my morning coffee, I keep a phrase keeps coming into my head every day, and it says, with great growth comes great responsibility. And I'll come back to that if we have time later on. I just want to give you an overview, top line numbers of some of the things that are happening in Hardeeville. In industry, down by Highway 17 and the road that leads to Exit 3, as Secretary Hall talked about, is the Riverport section. There are between Riverport and Sherwood and across the street, a company, Clarius. The city council has already approved building and site plans for 14 million square feet of industry. The North Signal Capital Project, there's already 2 buildings of close to 500,000 square feet that are already built and occupied and rented out. There are 2 other buildings that'll be 800,000 that'll have certificates of occupation by July. And they're clearing the next 2 buildings, they're clearing land now. So it'll be a total of 10 buildings, 4.6 million square feet. So down there already, what we know of and have approved is 14 million square feet of space. The Hardeeville Commerce Park, which is at Exit 5, we've sold all but about 4 acres of the 165 acres of city-owned land there, and that will be a industrial park having warehousing and some light manufacturing, and that'll be filling up in the next couple of years as well. On the housing front, we have approved, and we being the city council, which includes site plans, master plans, development agreements, 15 projects totaling 5,800 single-family townhouses and apartments. And those projects are at various stages of planning and beginning. There is also another 2,600 homes that have passed first reading. Second reading will be next Thursday on an area called the Car Track, which is on the border of Beaufort County and Jasper County. This has led to an unprecedented number of single-family home permits. We're on pace to have over 1,100 single-family home permits this year. Now, to give you some perspective, in 2017, and it all started this month 5 years ago when we announced Margaritaville, but that year we gave out 200 single-family home permits. And every year since, we've been setting new records. So there's a tremendous amount of homes going on. Commerce is following slower based on the fact that usually stores want rooftops. Out on 170 by Oldfield, we just approved the building of a commercial segment there that begins the East Argent segment, and Parker's will be building there on the corner. And across the street from there, little south, Publix has bought the land They have not submitted their plans yet, but again, they're waiting for more homes to be built. But eventually you'll see a Publix there. There's some smaller things going on there, but we expect, and I'll give you a little teaser, that the second half of 2022 will have some major announcements along in Hardeeville. Now, I talked about great responsibility, and I think this is an important thing, especially I see Secretary Hall still on, and nice to see you again, Ms. Secretary. It's all about traffic, and traffic, and the combined total of everything that's going on, both residential and industrial, throughout Hardeeville's 56 square miles, is leading to a tremendous traffic, potentially very congested area. I've been hounding people lately and espousing a regional overview. As we all know, as each one of these little projects come in, they all do their own little traffic study, but we need a regional traffic study. And I think we're making some progress in making that happen. I have talked to LATS, which is as our local MPO that Secretary Hall talked about. And they hopefully will contribute. We have the people who are doing that car track have pledged $300,000 towards that. We expect it to be probably in the range of $1 million. And we'll be looking at some of our other big developers to also contribute to that. The need for a regional traffic study is paramount in my opinion. And we also have been working with the town of Bluffton to try to re-energize the corridor that would include the Bluffton Parkway, which would join Hilton Head, Bluffton to the new exit 3 eventually. Also, Argent Boulevard, 170 and 278, that triangle has a tremendous need to look at what needs to be improved there. It's becoming an increasingly important corridor for traffic that goes between Savannah and Beaufort. The other thing is affordable housing, and that keeps coming up with every one of these projects that we approve. And we're trying to do something a little different. Farino, which is a company out of Pennsylvania that's building a lot of these projects, and also Moon River, which is part of that car traffic, that's KARRH, that I told you has passed first reading. They have agreed, rather than try to put affordable housing into their projects, they have agreed to partner with us to identify abandoned, dilapidated structures that we can rehabilitate into truly affordable housing. The need for housing for our police, our fire, and our teachers is so critical. We need it desperately. And a lot of these projects, even of our apartment projects, they're market rate. And unless we do something to get them affordable, the markets are really outpacing the salaries of particularly those type of workers that we need so desperately. We're also working and committed as chairman of the Soloco. We're committed to the Regional Housing Trust Fund that we hope will come forward in the next couple of years, as we're getting down to the point where we're proposing ordinance to each of the jurisdiction. Now, these are just minor tools in the toolbox. And it's all just a help to what the total need is, but we have to keep thinking of that. And one other thing that is really, I think, important to us, particularly in the low country, that as these projects come in, and this is where we all need to come together, and that is the effect on our environment. the project that's under approval, that car traffic, it was so impactful. It's right on the Great Swamp that we invited Beaufort County, Bluffton, as well as Jasper County to come in and advise us, and in terms of, so we could look at every possible effect on that very sensitive environmental area. And the Coastal Conservation League has been very helpful as well, so that we come up with a project that is sensitive to our environment. And just as one of the things that came from that is the fact that that density, we reduced it from 3,350 down to 2,620. It was something like 734 homes that we reduced. So we're trying to be understanding that all these projects and all this growth, that we take care of our environment, our traffic needs, and that our growth be smart growth. So I'll stop there. There's a lot of details that I left out and just gave you some of the top overviews, the things that we're looking at and trying to be sensitive to as we grow into the future.
Mayor, thank you so much for that update. A few questions for you. Actually, Jennifer was asking about the environment as our first question, and you've already handled that question, so thank you for addressing that. The second question is coming from Bill, and Bill is asking, are there any immediate plans to make Argent Boulevard safer or lower speed limits, widening, etc.?
Interesting question, since Secretary Hall is, I met with the regional director, Mr. Josh Johnson, several weeks ago. Argent Boulevard is becoming an increasingly dangerous road, and it borders the 9,500 homes that are going to be eventually built in that East Argent section. There is a loop road that will take some of the pressure off it, but right now there are, at this beginning by 170 and at the end at 278, the speed limit is 45. In the middle, where there's a lot of homes, including Sun City on both sides of Argent Boulevard going up, it's 55. And it's 55 of heavy traffic. Our study last summer showed that they are going 62 miles an hour on average. And these are big equipment trucks that are dump trucks, cement trucks, big pickups. So we're asking that the speed limit be universally reduced to 45 in that zone. And I believe Mr. Johnson told me we first have to commission or ask the state to do a traffic study there. There also will be a light going on Shortcut Road by the end of this year. And the warrants have been met. We don't have a timetable. The intersection of Argent and 278 meet the warrants now for a traffic light there as well.
All right, thank you for that answer. The next question is coming from Debbie, and Debbie is asking, how will your school system handle this growth?
Well, interesting. Right now in Jasper County, the school population over the last 10 years really hasn't risen much. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, a lot of our population growth, which with the last census went up 153%, which I think is the largest percentage in South Carolina, has a lot of it's been in the retirement community. So it hasn't added a burden to our schools. We've also had growth in the charter school system that's kept some of the school population out of the public school. There's also been growth in the private school sector. The county is considering right now, they have a study being done. They are considering adding school impact fees going forward, but nothing's been finalized on that as yet.
All right. All right, Mayor. Last question for you is really just an update on the Hardeeville Recreation Center. I know that's something that you're very proud of, and I'm just amazed and so pleased of the leadership of you and council and others to make that happen. Just give us a brief update on that.
Well, right now we have, I think, over 700 members. It's already won a state award. We will be receiving an award at the municipal meetings from the Municipal Association in July. In fact, I'm filming this afternoon for that. And as well as we won a county award. So we were all very proud of it. But most important thing of all is the fact that every time I go in there, and that's really the whole reason, I see kids in there playing basketball instead of hanging out on street corners. And that was really the main reason for that to happen. I've even seen a mother and a daughter playing basketball against each other. It's terrific. But surprisingly, even our senior community, we could probably rent out to Sun City 24/7 playing pickleball alone in that. So, and we have members from all over the community using the upstairs walking track, particularly with the weather can be hot, can be rainy, and we have so many people from all segments of our society coming together and walking that track. So we're really proud of it. It's a great regional facility, and it's doing really well.
Mayor, thank you for being with us today, and your leadership, not only in Hardeeville, but really in the entire region, is exemplary. And we applaud you for that. And we love how you're always working on regionalism, so important to you, because we all really are in this together.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Mayor, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move on and talk a little bit about school now, with the last day of school just around the corner of May 27th, which will be here before we know it. And here to give us a wrap up on the year end and the state of education really is our Beaufort County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Frank Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez, welcome back. Great to see you. We need some volume there, Dr. Rodriguez.
Can you hear me?
Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you.
It's always a pleasure to join you here, and thank you for having us and get a chance to talk a little bit about our schools. And so it's hard to believe that we're already wrapping up the school year. Our high school graduations are right around the corner here, right on the horizon, with May Rivers High School graduation taking place on June 5th. Beaufort High on June 6th, Bluffton High on June 7th, Battery Creek on June 8th, Hilton Head High on June 9th, and Whale Branch Early College High School on June 10th. And I'd like to extend a special thanks really to our county channel for live streaming the ceremonies. For those who are not able to attend in person, it's important to get a chance. Some have relatives across the country, and it's great for them to participate and see it that way. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, as you know, and today is actually Nurses Appreciation Day. So critical components of our school district and our school system. As the school year winds down, I ask parents that are listening today for your partnership really in encouraging children to focus on their academics and to finish out the school year strong. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. And so we want to maintain that focus. Especially now, our schools are currently in the midst of state assessments and state testing, and so they've worked really, really hard all year, and we want to make sure we have the best environment and the best opportunity for them to succeed on these state assessments. So our teachers, I know, would appreciate me reminding families to make sure that their children are well rested, that they have a good breakfast, that helps them really with their preparation for tests, because it really does make a difference. Speaking of our teachers, last week, our Board of Education voted to provide each current full-time employee who remains employed with the school district in November of this upcoming year, a $2,000 retention bonus, because retaining our top talented educators and staff is really a top priority. I'm sure everybody knows that that there is a teacher shortage across the country. In our state alone, 8% of teachers leave the profession, either retirement or moving or some other reason every single year. And our universities are only able to replace about 4% of those teachers here in the state of South Carolina. And so with their graduates. And so this teacher shortage issue is a real issue. The other thing that I think is important, and I'm not sure most people realize this, but here in Beaufort County, we currently rank 53rd out of about 80 districts in the state of South Carolina when it comes to base teacher salaries for our teachers. And as you know, this is critically important. We've been talking about affordable housing. We've been talking about a lot of these things over time, and especially this morning. And so we're moving to make an impact on that in our proposed budget this year. And so we want to make sure that we get either to the top or to be in the top 5 for teacher salaries this year. So we're looking to make a real move on teacher salaries to assist with the recruitment and the retention of our brightest educators for our county. So I encourage you to learn more about our proposed budget through budget forums that we have. Participants at the forum can hear a presentation on what the budget entails, and have a chance to work in small groups to deeper explore various areas such as instruction, administration, operations, and salaries. I think it would be really enlightening for everybody to see how much of our budget goes to teacher salaries and is pushed in that direction. So participants will be able to share their discussions and suggestions with our board members. And if you're able to attend one of the forums, you can, if you can't, attend one of the forums, you can view the proposed budget and provide feedback through our BCSD connected page on our district website through May 15th and provide input. And I will put in the chat box that BCSD connected information so that you all will have it. The board hopes to officially certify the district's budget for 22-23 on May 17th. And then we take our budget to county council. And so that current timeline would have the final reading of the 3 readings, the final one taking place on June 27th. Finally, this summer, the district will be busy offering various summer school opportunities across the county, as well as summer camps that we offer with thematic programming like arts and med tech focus. We also have additional summer opportunities developed in collaboration with some of our various community partners that we're very excited about this year. And so it's important to continue that extended learning opportunities for our students through well into the summer. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here with you today. It's always great to speak with you and to share what's happening around Beaufort County School District anytime you have me on.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. A few questions for you, if you don't mind. The first question is coming from Scott, and Scott is asking, what do you feel is the biggest challenge facing our students right now?
Well, the biggest challenge facing our students right now is definitely, as we've come out of this pandemic, any academic learning loss that our students have experienced is definitely a challenge that's really a nationwide challenge. It is a statewide challenge, and it rings true locally today. But making sure that we can have all of our classrooms fully staffed with highly qualified educators is really, really important to make sure that we take care of that academic recovery and push forward well onto the future so that our kids can reach their highest potential. So making sure that we can attract the brightest educators available, because talent is extremely important in that area.
All right, next question is coming from Tammy, and Tammy is asking, how do you feel about the progress of our students following the pandemic learning?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually really encouraged by what we're seeing. We've put some really great measures in place to support student learning, and we're seeing that progress that they're making. But this is, make no mistake about it, this is a multi-year recovery effort for students. The pandemic had significant effects, and so we have some things like extended learning opportunities where we've partnered with local community partners such as Boys and Girls Club on Hilton Head, in the north end and in the Bluffton area. Some of the local churches have partnered with the school district so that there are extended learning opportunities closer to home for students, where our teachers go and use some of their facilities after school and actually provide academic instruction to students right in their local communities as extended learning opportunities. So we have some that stay at school and get that extra support, and some that parents take to these other sites, and so then we go there to the local community in order to try to reach them. So we're really proud of the effort that we're making. We actually think that extended learning opportunity is actually pretty innovative and something that you don't really see in a lot of places across the country. And we think we're going to see some really great progress out of it. We're already seeing the impact. So.
All right, Dr. Rodriguez, one last question for you, and I know it's one that is on your mind daily, and that is what steps are being taken to ensure school safety?
Thank you for that. One of the things through our referendum that we passed in 2019, there were school safety measures that were a part of that, safety and security and technology infrastructure that was a part of that referendum. And so we've been upgrading those safety and security measures across our schools. In addition, one of the things we did this year, we added armed security guards to our elementary schools, because our sheriff's office does a great job providing support for our schools in terms of SROs with our middle schools and our high schools. Sheriff Tanner's been a great source of support for us on that end, and has been committed to assisting us with our safety and security. In addition, in our local municipalities, that is where SROs go. They go in the middle schools and they go in the high schools. And so to add that extra layer of security into our elementary schools, we did so through armed security guards. And for the most part, that program has been working well. We've had a couple hiccups there, and which we've dealt with very quickly and swiftly. But besides that security program thus far has been going well.
Dr. Rodriguez, thank you so much for tuning in today. Your updates are always informative and very much appreciated.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, and appreciate being here with all of you. I've put in the chat box a BCSD connected so that everyone can click on that link if they can't make the budget forums and can provide us input. We'd love to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to mention that Secretary Hall has gotten back to us, and she wanted me to let the group know that the demolition of the toll plaza on the Cross Island Parkway is expected to be completed by the end of this month, with the rest of the project expected to be completed later on this fall. So there's what you can expect as far as the Cross Island Parkway goes. We're going to transition into looking at our beaches, and we know that Memorial Day is almost here, and certainly is a busy time for our beaches. Southern Living recently named us the South's best beach town, and we're always on the list for best beaches in the country. And you know what? There's a reason for that. We're glad to have with us this morning Marc Robson. He's in charge of Hilton Head Island Beaches as the beach manager, operations manager, I should say. And I want to give you a little background on Marc. Marc comes to us from Charlotte, North Carolina, where he had nearly a 30-year career in law enforcement. And then he was really in charge of at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, making sure that I think close to 40 million passengers going through there each year had a positive experience in working with security there as well. Marc, welcome to Hilton Head Island. We're glad you're here, and we look forward to telling us how safety on the beaches and trash on the beaches and all things you're responsible for.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you having us today. I introduce Aaron Black. He's our facilities manager. Hilton had started a beach operations team in July of last summer, as you spoke of where my background came from. And I was tasked with trying to make Hilton Head Beach the ultimate beach. And we want to be the #1 beach in America. And we seem to make that each and every year on various reports, and specific parts, come in about 16th or something. But we want to make the best beach experience for our residents as well as our tourists. This season has already started. It is in full force. It doesn't seem like we really have an off season. And with COVID slowing down or being over, we're excited about this season, and we're ready to go, and we're looking forward to a lot of things. But I was also tasked with starting a program to make our facilities that look pretty tired, as air quotes on that, to make them look better. So we looked at what we can do with our facilities, whether that was improving the bathrooms or landscaping or decking, or at Caligny. We looked at that park, and we noticed that we had an underutilized area that was not conducive for the beach traffic we needed. So we created a 10-foot wide entrance to Caligny with new beach mat, and that has been a fabulous addition. It makes it easier for the beachgoers, the bikes, the wheelchairs, and all the families bringing their beach wagons and stuff. And with creating the new entrance, that also created a new exit. And we added beach mat to all of our beach parks, trying to make all of those ADA compliant. And as I mentioned, we were trying to make all our facilities look less like campground bathrooms, and we still have a ways to go, but we did a lot of improvements with new partitions, new floors, new painting the inside, the exterior of them, trying to make it a better beach experience. We are also working for our second year with our beach ambassadors. They will be starting this weekend. We're excited to have 3 of our ambassadors back from last year and 3 new ambassadors for next year. Our ambassador program is kind of essentially to be seen and be friendly and greeters and ambassadors for the town of Hilton. If they can make recommendations, introduce themselves, be more engaging with the people, but recommend a restaurant or an ice cream place, or parking, or the shuttle that they might need to catch. So that's a fantastic program that we're on our second year getting that going. We also have a few other programs that we are starting relatively soon. We're in the next 2 weeks. Is that correct, Aaron? Next 2 weeks, we're going to start our handicapped wheelchair program, and it's going to be a loaner program. We have 4 handicap wheelchairs, beach wheelchairs with big tires on it, that we're going to roll out, and they'll be available to the general public to use. So we're pretty excited about that program. We partnership with a lot of businesses, and we're very proud of our community partners. So just on any of them, the Palmetto Breeze Shuttle, Short Beach, we work day in and day out with them as they're providing service, life-saving as well as safety on our beaches. Shore Beach, invaluable to us. Turtle Patrol, we're with them daily, and turtle tractors who are filling in the holes. And we're asking people that make sure we're not, digging some giant holes that, we're burying people in. It's supposed to be, 1 feet deep, and please fill them in at the end of the day. One of our new partners that we're working with this year is the Outside Foundation. We're excited to work with them. We're extending our town council wooden bin project, so we don't have any loose trash cans on the beach. And we'll be putting those out throughout the beach and consolidating some trash cans in various areas that are not as utilized. We work with our bike ambassadors. They're invaluable. And with that, we're trying to recognize them and help them with 3 bike repair stations that we're putting in some of our beach parks. And we're going to put them in Chaplin Park, Follyfield Park, and Caligny. USCB has been invaluable. We worked closely with them on the Finnegan Share project, in which they're repurposing chairs and umbrellas and various other beach instruments, toys and boogie boards that they can use and recycle and repurpose and put back on the beach. The Adopt a Beach it's a cleanup project that's been around for a while, but we've tightened it up with a lot of our programs, also USCB, Marriott, Westin, Sea Pines, and we're really excited about that. And a couple other projects that we've done is, Adopt a Beach basket. You might see some green baskets on the beach that you might see like at Walmart or various locations. Take a basket, go on the beach, pick up your trash, and bring it back and empty it for you. And that in its first week, we had like 3,000 Facebook likes on that. So that's been a quite positive program. Aaron, like to add a few other things?
No, like I said, it's just Marc and his team's been doing a great job. And like he said, the beach season is upon us. We've had a lot of folks that are willing to, vacation and come down here and enjoy our great beaches. And really, that's our goal here at the town, is to create a better beach experience while we're preserving that island culture. So we are super excited to be working with, the community and our residents and all of our guests that come and visit our beautiful island. And we are open to new best practices, anything that we can do to help promote the wildlife and to, keep things safe and beautiful. That's the reason why a lot of us came and are living here now. So.
Any questions that you might have for us?
All right, gentlemen. Yes, certainly. Thank you for that update. And it's exciting to hear the plans that are moving forward. And I particularly like that one that our bathrooms don't reflect those of campgrounds. I thought that's a great way to look at it.
We're trying our best.
Questions coming from Vince here, and Vince asking is, can you update us on what's happening at the Islanders Beach Park with parking?
With parking, as of the end of April, we have added 7 days a week. We have parking monitors that are checking beach passes. And we also have still 25 spaces available for metered parking for non-beach pass holders. But we've got that in place and we're excited about that, and that program is working real well. The more the people are there, the more they get to know the faces and the cars, and it's been a very good program and it's working well.
All right, thank you. Next question is coming in from Mary, and Mary is asking how you handle crowd control at Coligny area.
Well, thank God we have the Beaufort County Sheriff's Department working, hand in hand with them. We stay apprised with them on certain trends. If we have any issues, we call them. We also have the benefit of Shore Beach that, can keep us apprised of what's going on, and they can kind of manage the crowd control as well. And we also have our code enforcement officers that are going to be out there with us, writing tickets and keeping the beach a little safer. And as my beach operation team will be out there as well. We have some ATV vehicles that we purchased for this season so we can get around the beach a little easier. And, try to educate the people and, have a safe beach experience and a positive beach experience for everybody.
And we've got a lot of great other beaches around besides Coligny, Burke's Beach, Dreesen, Folly, Fish Hall. So there's a lot of little hidden jewels and gems around the island. Obviously, Coligny is the most popular, but I would, suggest and challenge folks to kind of see some of the different areas of the island as well.
We'd like to also promote the Breeze trolley system, the shuttle. We're running a shuttle system on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from USCB. So there's additional parking there that should free up some at Coligny. But then it's going to be a continuous loop from 10 till 4:30, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, park at USCB, and then they'll drop you off right at Coligny. But they're also, the Breeze trolley system does take people free to, various parts of the island and to the various beach parks. And as Aaron mentioned, there are more than just Islanders or Coligny. There's some beautiful beaches out there that are kind of little hidden gems, like Alders Beach Park is, one of my favorites. Fish Hall is a local secret one that I just let out to everybody. So that's a great beach park to go to as well.
We're blessed with a lot of great beaches here on Hilton Head Island. Our team participated in a beach cleanup on Earth Day, and we were very pleasantly surprised with the number of guests and residents that were on the beach, but also most of all the cleanliness of it, and we were delighted to see that. We also know as summer approaches and more visitors and more residents are going to the beaches, how do you work on getting the trash picked up more frequently? Or I think what we see sometimes is the trash bins are there, they're full, and then things start accumulating around them. Any plans for that this summer season?
Another great question, Bill. We actually have some seasonal workers we started, and the seasonal workers are doing a 5 a.m. pickup. So they're hitting our beaches and beach parks at 5 a.m. and they're going to subsidize, our beach operations team. We are also going to implement a kind of a third shift team on the weekends that we're going to be doing a 7:30 to 9:30 trash pickup as well. So we have no less than at least 5 to 7 pickups, but Shore Beach also is doing a fantastic job of picking up trash on the beach. And we have American Pride that's doing a great job of picking up in between and subsidizing with us as well. We also are going to unveil this year it's going to be kind of a pilot program, but we're going to try some trash compactor, and it's supposed to be like a 5-to-1, so it's going to reduce the 5% down into 1. So we're going to start that at Calais this year, and see how that progresses, and if it's very successful, we'll spread that to other beach parks. But yeah, trash is our big problem. We've mapped it out, and we have no less than 5 to 7 times a day that we have trash pickups, and we're adjusting our schedule accordingly. And it'll always be fluid and flexible with trash pickup.
And again, I would just suggest, just tell all of the viewers and really the residents do a good job, but the stuff you take out on the beach, make sure you take it back with you. Tents and broken chairs and different things like that, are a real problem. And like I said, our vendors and our partners do a great job at, there's a lot of work being done, in the evening and early in the morning to try to get the beaches to look as pristine as they, always do. So it's really a joint effort between everybody to, help pick up trash, maintain trash, and to keep our beaches beautiful.
And to go along with that, we're trying to put up messages. Aaron said, take everything home. We don't want your broken chairs and broken tents either. It's a big burden and on us. We want you to take everything home but your footprints. We also ask that people are not disposing of their household trash, whether that's, from residentials, rentals, condos, or short-term rentals. We just do not have the capacity to take at the beach people's personal trash. So, please find that within your rental is to take your trash home with you, or another alternative than leaving it next to our trash cans.
Mark, I like that we have a campaign going last year as well as this year for our visitors as well as our residents. And it's about enjoying our island and its pristine but delicate ecosystem. And then we go on to say, leave nothing behind but your footprint. And we think that's so important. And I'm glad we're aligned on that. And I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing and how we're taking that next step to make our beach, keep our beaches really first class, and obviously 2 first-class gentlemen there that are leading the way. So Mark and Aaron, thank you so much. We're glad you're with us, and look forward to checking back with you maybe a little later on towards the summer and see how things are going.
Please do. We're more than welcome to come back and see you. I appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As we close out this morning, I certainly want to remind you of Small Business Week next week. Please come out and take part of some of the events. Should be a good time and some learning opportunities as well. Don't forget to take care of each other and stay safe. We look forward to seeing you real soon. Have a great rest of your day.